I waited in line for 2 hours to buy this whiskey. Did I waste my time? Today's forecast is of this Bardstown Bourbon Company Distillery Reserve Hokkaido Mizunara Oak Barrel Finish. Whew, holy shit, that's a lot to say. This is the second release in Bardstown's Distillery Reserve series following the Cathedral French Oak earlier this year. What makes this one so special is Bardstown blended a mix of 9 to 18-year-old bourbons and ryes to complete this whiskey, including a 9-year-old Indiana rye, 14 and 15-year-old Kentucky bourbons, and an 18-year-old Tennessee bourbon, before finishing it for an extensive 28 months in 6 different Hokkaido Mizunara oak barrels. Mizunara oak is notoriously rare. Trees can be anywhere from 200 to 500 years old before they're harvested, meaning the wood in these barrels could date back to before the light bulb was even invented. Now, this release is bottled right at 109.3 proof, only in 375 milliliter bottles, which is a distillery exclusive, and it has an MSRP right at $99.99. Because it is a blend of bourbon and rye together, it doesn't carry that bourbon classification, but it certainly carries some hype. Now let's see if that hype is real. Oh, that nose is spectacular. I get a lot of sweetness up front, but it's more of like baking sweetness. Brown sugars, honeys, even some maple syrup, along with some toffee, and then I even get a weird grape note coming through as well. Off the nose, I already love it, but let's see how it tastes. That is delicious, but it is nowhere as sweet as I expected it to be from the nose. There are still some sweet notes up front with those maple syrups and brown sugars along with some vanillas, even a honey cinnamon butter coming through as well. Then you start to get a little bit more of those spices like that sandalwood as well as some baking spices coming through, which really carries you into the finish, which has a whole lot more spice to it. I get a little bit of a white pepper spice along with some of those cinnamon baking spices. There are some hints of vanilla coming through, almost like a vanilla custard, but there also is some slight earthy bitterness, which I would probably atone to that oak. Altogether, this is a fabulous pour, and it scores an 8.5 out of 10 on my lightning counter rating scale, which would put that right in the top 15 for best bourbons and whiskey so far in 2025. For me, I'm definitely happy I waited in line for this one, but I would probably prefer the Bardstown Cathedral over this one by just a little bit. However, if you are lucky enough to be in Bardstown at the distillery or in downtown Louisville near their tasting room on a day that they're dropping this, make sure to take advantage and buy one, because you are not going to regret picking this up. Now, I want to know, what is the longest you've ever waited in line for a bottle of bourbon or whiskey? Drop that in the comment section below, and remember, it's always whiskey weather.